Hello, I'm Karina.
Wow, we actually started on time. Hi,
Yeah.
I'm Maddie.
And welcome to Everything But the Fairy Tale Sink. This week we are covering the Ashanti legend of Anansi, which I definitely just forgot. I'm exhausted.
It's fine. She also just spent the entirety of the last filming just attacking me.
Yeah, I did.
So,
okay. But let's start with recommendations of the day. What is yours?
my recommendation. Oh boy.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go first.
All right. Someone's whiny.
My brain is not with me anymore.
You're good.
It's fine.
My recommendation of the day is to get yourself a journal and just use it in whatever way you want. Just have it be helpful for you in some sort of way. Because honestly, it's been a lot of fun and actually is really helpful. So, yeah.
My recommendation, like I know we mentioned this a long time ago, and it wasn't even me who did it, but it was a friend of ours. My recommendation is go through your Instagram and just follow new people or unfollow people who you're already following that don't make you happy. Because things are stressful right now and things are constantly changing. And sometimes there are people out there who, you know, they'll post something and you look at it and you're like, I don't entirely agree with that, or it stresses you out. And then you don't feel good for the rest of your day. So eliminate those people who make you feel that way. Even in real life, you know, they don't just have to be online people.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into this. Are you so excited for the spider episode?
You know what? I'm pretty sure the next episode will get you back for this. Oh, so God, it's okay.
The next episode?
I don't know. Sit on it and think.
I said tech.
I don't know. Is it?
Oh, no.
I don't know.
So, the Ashanti people of Ghana were the ones who first told tales of Anansi. His name in the Twi language, which was their cultural language, means spider, and their oral traditions brought him to life. Then came the slavers, who forced the Ashanti people out of their homeland in the Ghana region and to the Caribbean islands, primarily the plantations of Jamaica, which we won't go on a colonialism rant.
I was going to say we cover that a lot here, sadly, because that's just how things have happened in the past, and it obviously we're not unaware of it, but we don't want to talk about it because it's a really heavy thing. So,
and so, yeah, but we do have to acknowledge the fact that the legends were transferred because of the slave trade. But the stories continued to spread there, and they gained more and more traction and notoriety. So now the spider god is so famous that he is seen throughout pop culture. The most recent, popular time we've seen him is the TV adaptation of American Gods, which is from the book of the same name by Neil Gaiman. Who exactly is Anansi? So he is, above all, a trickster and a very, very complicated figure. On one hand, he can be straight up ruthless and cruel, and many of his stories he uses his smarts, because he's very, very smart, to hurt others. But sometimes he is helpful, especially if being helpful can get him an award. Which
should just rename this podcast All the Tricksters, because
honestly,
all the tricksters led by Karina in smaller font, because you're apparently the only one who talks about them.
But more than anything, Anansi is the bridge between the almighty nature and higher force, which is similar to our Christian God, and the humanity that learns and benefits from them. He's a teacher and a lesson alike. Multiple legends tell of Anansi giving the humans knowledge, and from his stories we can learn things about ourselves. How to plan in advance, how to strategize, how to be aware of ourselves and others, and how we all have some form of duality. Even in the stories where he's being malicious, we can learn, as he always faces consequences for his actions, which is a warning to those who are thinking of breaking the rules. I did realize with this, we are breaking our rule a little bit, because a lot of these stories come from fables, which are structured legends, or structured stories, sort of similar to fairy tales, but he has been around since before written records.
I was going to say fairy tales seem to be more I mean, fairy tales were passed on from old wives' tales, which were oral traditions, but then were written down by the Brothers Grimm and stuff. But most of the things that we cover are 80 to 90% oral tradition, where we can't find most of the story.
Yeah. So the stories I'm telling today are technically considered to be fables, but they give you a good grasp of his character.
And he is a mythological creature. He shows up in my textbook, so.
Yes. So a little bit more about Anansi, which I guess we can call this the fast facts section. He originates from the Ashanti people in Ghana, like we said, but his cultural center is in the West Indies and Caribbean islands. His symbol, unsurprisingly, is a spider. Like many cultures, Mother Earth and Father Sky exist in the Ashanti lore. Their names are Asase Yan and Niame, and they are Anansi's mother and father. His wife is Okonore Ya, who is a female spider. She is also commonly called Aso. He has many children, but his most famous and only named child is his son Ntikamu, I believe. Anansi can appear either as a spider, a man with spider-like features, or a mix of the two.
No.
Which honestly I think is
the
worst.
No, you know what? You know what? I was
we're saying it. We're saying it.
No.
We're saying it. He can appear as either a spider with a human face or a man with 8 legs.
No. I was tolerant of this episode until now.
Okay, we're moving on.
Out of the 2 tricksters we've covered, I would much rather encounter the other.
So, if you're obviously curious about summoning this deity, right?
No.
Well, that's fine, because if you did ever want to, you can make offerings of treats, smokes, and liquor. And he only sticks around for those who are gifted in storytelling, as he hates boredom. So just don't tell him a story.
As we have a podcast, we might be considered gifted in storytelling, but I'm not going to go summon a Spider-Man.
But if you happen to run into him, you just be like, nah, I know how to tell stories.
I'd be like, do you want to hear the story of something really boring?
Do you want to know how the phosphorus cycle works?
The what?
I don't know. He'd just be like, goodbye.
He'd be like, okay, I'm out.
All right, so the most famous legends surrounding Anansi are how he brought stories and wisdom to the world. It's important to note that these are 2 separate legends, but it is possible that stories and wisdom are one and the same in the cultural context. And now we switch over to this paper, which definitely wasn't me taking notes at work. So the first legend, I'm ignoring you, is called Anansi Brings Stories to the World.
Didn't I send you this one? I sent you pictures of my textbook for Loki and for this one. I sent you a billion
ones.
I was gonna say I sent you a billion Loki pictures and then 2 for Anansi.
Oops. Anyways, so the first story is how he brought stories to the world. I'm gonna say stories a lot. So Niame, who is the sky god, he was hoarding the stories in a box in the sky, and Anansi, he was like, that feels kind of sketch. So he made a plan to take it. So he crafted, because he's a spider, crafted the silken thread that could stretch all the way up to the sky and rose up to the palace and approached his father. And Niame was impressed that he even got up there. But he really didn't want to give up his stuff. So he made up this impossible bargain. Capture these 4 super dangerous creatures, and then I'll give you the stories. So Anansi didn't give up. He was like, I want that stuff. So he first went to Onini, who is the serpent. And he was like,
That's another thing you like talking about on here is serpents.
I do. Serpents show up a lot. I do like snakes. I think they're cute.
Hiss.
But
I should just have my stupid artwork of the Thor quote.
Onini, if I remember correctly, his biggest flaw was his pride. So Anansi started pretending to have this argument. So Onini is just laying in his cave, minding his own business, and he starts hearing, is not, is to, is not, is to. So he's like, what?
Is this a kindergarten level argument?
A little bit. But he goes out, and Anansi is standing there, and he goes, hey, my wife and I can't seem to agree. Are you longer than this stick right here? I believe you are, but my wife doesn't believe me, so you have to prove it to her.
That's what she said.
I'm ignoring you. A branch, Madison. So basically, the way that they made this work was they were like, okay, you can't stretch out to the your full length in this cave. So why don't we tie you to this branch so then we can actually see how long you are? And Onini was like, okay, I gotta prove myself. So he let himself be tied on there. And that is how Anansi captured the great serpent. How are you feeling?
I'm not going to comment anymore. We're moving along to the next creature.
All right. The next creature is Osibo the leopard.
Okay,
and
this one will be better.
He was known for his strength. So he was not the brightest of the bunch. We will just say that. Anansi dug this pit, this giant pit, and in the middle of the night, Osibo was walking and fell into it. So the next morning, Anansi came to him and was like, oh no, let me help you out. Silk string went down in the pit, and Osibo started to climb out. And he was being too rough with the string, so he slowly and steadily got himself more and more tangled. The harder he pulled, the more tangled he would get. And so this is how Anansi took Osibo's own strength and used it against him, and then proceeded to take him to his father. Next up, we're talking about the Moburo hornets, which is a group of creatures, but they're also referred to as just one. So they were known to be just aggressive. Basically, demon yellow jackets.
Ew.
So Anansi gathered up water on this leaf, dumped half of it over his head, and then half of it onto the hornet's nest. So when the hornets all flew out and they were not happy, he was like, oh no, the rains have come sooner. We need to give you a place to hide. And he held up this gourd that he had carved a hole into. And the hornets, who did not like being wet, were like, yeet. He had already crafted a plug for this gourd. So he just very steadily, bloop, bloop, and took it to his father. Now the last creature he had to defeat was, ooh, I can't read my own handwriting.
Well, no one can read your handwriting. It's the size of a pea. Or
so
smaller.
The last creature we're talking about is Moshe. I might be mispronouncing that. Sorry about that. But she was an invisible fairy known for her pride, her temperament, just kind of not being nice overall. However, Anansi already knew this. She had a weakness for yam paste. It was her favorite food. And so he took this baby doll and covered it in gum.
No!
It's a puppet. It's a puppet.
I don't care about
I don't love it either. I don't like dolls. But anyways.
That's not my problem. The fact that he just covered a baby doll. Like, couldn't he have put anything?
No, you'll see why. He put a bowl of yam paste in front of this puppet baby. And so when she came, she asked, oh, can I have some? And he moved the puppet to say, yes, absolutely, help yourself. So she ate it all. And then she went, thank you for sharing with me. And the baby said nothing. So she was like, that's rude, but maybe he didn't hear me. Thank you for sharing, zilch. And she got really mad because she's like, you're being rude. So she reaches out and slaps the baby. And in the process, gets herself stuck on the gum. And so she was like, no, smack with the other hand. Oh no, both hands are stuck. Kick, kick, kick. Oh no, my feet are stuck.
See, in my mind, I'm picturing one of those, like, literal, like, baby alive dolls, like the tiny ones, and that she's just, like, stuck to it.
Anyways, so then he brought this last creature to his father, and Yame was like, you know what, fair enough. I don't know how you did it, but you did it. Here are the stories. And
Anansi, it's like the little boy from Dragons of Italy.
Yeah.
Mucus and his impossible tasks.
Except cries a lot less. Yeah, he then took the stories to the rest of the world. And now we'll tell the story of how Anansi brought wisdom to the world, which, like I mentioned, might be two versions of the same story, or like the same end goal, or they might be two completely different legends. It's kind of hard to tell. So first of all, it's very likely that this was an accident. So he had this pot, Anansi did, with all of the wisdom in the world. Daily, he would look into the pot and he would learn some new wonderful thing. And in this story, it's actually his father, their roles kind of switched, who wanted him to share it. But he was like, no, this is mine. I don't want to share. His father ordered him to share the wisdom with the rest of the world. He really didn't want to, so he decided to come up with a hiding place. He found this really, really tall tree and started trying to climb it. But he really couldn't for some reason. He couldn't figure it out. And his son, who is the one we named earlier, he was curious, so he had already followed his father, and he decided to offer him some help. So Anansi had already tried either like throwing the pot up or pulling himself up with string and pulling the pot after him. But his son came up with this idea to tie the pot to his body so then he could climb with it not jiggling. So Anansi did that, and it worked. But as he sat at the top of the tree, he was like, oh, even with this pot of wisdom, I still couldn't figure it out myself. Maybe other people do need to have wisdom because my son just helped me. So he takes the pot, throws it down, shatters, and that is why we all have a little wisdom, but nobody has it all.
That is much better than Odin.
Yeah.
Because Odin wanted more knowledge, so he ripped his own eye out.
Mm-hmm. No, Anansi actually was like...
Anansi wanted to share more knowledge, so he broke a pot and made sure everyone had a little bit of wisdom.
And he did that because he realized his son was a good person, or spider. So, yeah. Anyways, that is the end of our episode today.
Wow, you actually had a shorter one today.
I know. It was kind of nice.
Yeah, because you like long episodes.
I do. My throat doesn't, though, so.
See, in my mind, when you said that because, like, I don't know what the best way to picture him is.
Mm-hmm. I've got an article I printed out that has a picture of him.
Nope, I don't want that.
That's what he's supposed to look like. Can you see?
I don't like it.
I don't mind it. It looks like a child cartoon to me.
It does. It's better than a man with 8 legs.
Yeah, I hate that.
He also seems, Anansi seems a lot, I mean, you only shared 2 stories of him. I'm sure there's stories of him being mean out there, but out of the 2 tricksters that you've covered, Anansi seems like the nicer of the 2.
Yes, but he also has more of a reputation for being mean than Loki seems to have had at the time.
Loki is a morally great toddler. Anansi is either.
Anansi is playing to his own strengths.
Yes.
But I don't know. I actually really like it.
He plays to his own strengths. Loki's just a morally great toddler.
There is a lot more out there about Anansi. I found this website, which I didn't have that much time to explore, but it has a whole collection of stories about him, so we'll link it down below. A lot of them are just those really fun old fables. So yeah, I highly recommend that. And this is where we find ourselves at the end. So
yes,
my wish for our viewers today, well, no, first actually what's going to be up next?
Up next is I'm gonna do a little mixing up because I don't want to have too many urban legends back to back because
yeah.
So Karina, I'm sorry.
I don't want to.
Up next we have I guess American urban legends because this is still an urban legend, but it's not American. So up next we have the Japanese urban legend of Tech.
I hate it so much. I know a little bit about this and I don't want to know more, but we get to know more. Woo!
So this is an episode that usually we encourage you to watch our stuff, but this is one where I will obviously give a content warning at the beginning, but this is one where if you feel like you can't handle it, I won't be offended if you don't watch it.
Unless it's me.
Yeah, you have
I don't get a choice.
You don't get a choice. Other people get a choice.
What if I made Amanda come and just take my spot for that episode?
No. Amanda's too nice.
That's true.
You have bullied me for like 4 episodes straight. Do you want to roast me? Roast me. Hit me. Let's go.
I'm just really not happy that we're having to do Tech. I'm going to have nightmares.
Boo hiss.
You boo hiss.
Anyways. Thank you so much for watching.
Yes, thank you.
And make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Remember that if we get 50 followers on Instagram and 50 subscribers here, I will buy a giant cardboard cutout of Loki and he will live in the background of the videos.
What else?
All you want. I don't know where I'm going to put it, but it's fine.
Snitches end up in ditches. Haha. I said it this time.
It goes at the end. It goes at the end. Anyways, website, who knows at this point. TikTok, Karina, post on it because I don't have TikTok. Anyways, yes, please join us next week. It won't be an episode for the faint of heart, but I will still appreciate it if you watch it. So
yes,
thank you.
I will also appreciate it.
Yes,
make my suffering worth it.
Yes, suffer with Karina. So thank you. Goodbye, and remember,
Snitches end
Bitches
up in
end up in
ditches.
ditches.
Bye.
Bye.